The universe has a banking system. It's imperative that you put deposits in on a regular basis so your withdrawal is never denied. Katt Williams. Are you putting in deposits on a regular basis? In today's conversation, I'm going to let you know what that universal banking system is. Stay tuned. Hello, hello, hello. You are listening to the Manifest on Purpose show. I am your host, Kimbaley. It is my purpose to help you manifest on purpose. Thank you so much for sharing space with me. Thank you for sharing this with all of your friends and family. And thank you for subscribing here and on the website at Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. The God in me loves the God in you. I know you're very interested in knowing about this universal banking system, and we will get there. But before we do, this show is brought to you by Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and his Star 8 numerology app. Today's forecast is as follows. It is Thursday, February the 8th. The sun is in Aquarius. The moon enters Aquarius at 8:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a 1 universal month, a 3 universal week, and a 9 universal day. Today brings with a mix of closure as well as possible dreams come true. Closure to anyone or matter that's been a drain on your finances and resources. Yet, on the other hand, the kind of day to manifest on purpose those things that can make life for you and others more prosperous and fulfilling. It's a matter of which path you wish to take. Aries, Scorpio, Leo, and those born on the 9th, 18th, 27th of the month are likely to be more assertive in this regard, going after what they want. Once again, that is the numerology forecast for today, courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 numerology app. Download the app at Google Play, the App Store, or go to a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8.com, or Linktree/numbers and you. Now let's jump into the show. The topics here that I discuss come from a range of different things. I want to discuss the inspiration for this topic today. The reason I decided to choose this topic is one day I was scrolling on social media, something I don't normally do, and it was at the beginning of the Katt Williams hype. And I saw something in a post that said universal banking system. He was speaking, and I decided, let me check this out, see what this is all about. And I listened to it, and that's where I heard this quote. I'm going to repeat the quote. The universe has a banking system. It's imperative that you put deposits in on a regular basis so that your withdrawal is never denied. And once again, this is Katt Williams that delivered this quote. And when I listened to this quote, I thought, wow, he's teaching the law of compensation. So there's something a lot deeper to him than what a lot of people know. So I wanted to bring forth this very interesting law of the universe to you today so that you know what you can expect once you know the law, if you've never known it before. Now, this conversation has been baking for a while, and I want to let you know that this is not going to be the original way that I plan to deliver this topic. I had the topic all figured out, but Jeannie stepped in and she changed it. The story I'm about to tell you is one that I have told here before. It's somewhere in the archives. I can't remember which episode it was or even which season it was. And it's a story about when I was a young single parent, striving to make it during that time. I had two boys, they were young. I had to travel long distances to transport them back and forth to school. I wanted my children to be at a school that I knew, and so I transported them to a school that I grew up going to myself. It was during a recession and the gas was going through the roof. One particular week, funds got pretty short. In fact, when I picked the children up on a Wednesday, I only had enough gas to get home. Because of this, I knew that my children would probably have to miss the next day of school or miss the next 2 days of school. But I had exhausted all other means. On the way home from picking them up that day, I stopped to the store to get some gas. I had just enough to get home. So I went on and put that final few bucks in the gas tank. With the exception of a small purchase, it was a very tiny purchase. And I think I even got a few cents back in change. I'm not sure the exact amount of how much I got back, but I know it was some pennies, or as some people can call it, some brown boys in there. And so I just felt like, well, I'll just throw this in the bottom of the purse, and that would be that. But as I reached out my hand for the change, something happened. I heard a voice in my mind's eye instructing me as plain as day to give. During the time, all I knew that it was a voice. I knew that my intuition was pretty strong and clear, but I did not know exactly where the voice was coming from. Now I can look back in hindsight and see that that voice was none other than my higher self, Jeannie. So when I heard that voice say, give, I replied, "Are you serious? Give what?" But this part of the story has proven that there is a universal banking system, even when it feels as if the world's banking system has failed in some ways. So after my reply, I heard, "Give what you have." And when I heard that, my attention was directed to the give a penny, take a penny tray that was sitting right there on the counter. And I was still thinking, like, what is somebody going to do with a couple of pennies? And I heard the voice again, give, just a little bit stronger this time. And I was like, okay, I don't know what the purpose of all of this is, but I'm just going to give these pennies and put them here so that someone else can get them if they need them. I went on out of the store and I journeyed home. On the way there, thinking about, well, at least the boys and I will be able to sleep in late tomorrow. Once I arrived at home, I decided to check my mailbox. And when I checked my mailbox that day, instead of getting a bunch of bills, I got something that changed my life forever. Now, I know what you're thinking. It would have been nice to have a check for a couple $1,000,000 sitting in that mailbox, but you know that's not what happened, right? However, I did have a nice size check, enough to make sure that I had it what I needed and that I could get my boys to school for the rest of the week. What I got that day that changed the rest of my life forever was a lesson that when you give, it always comes back to you, no matter what it is that you give. The universal banking system never fails. To keep it simple, the law of compensation is one of the universal laws. According to the law of compensation, you get back exactly what you put in. Sometimes you even get back more. People also associate this universal law with karma. Universal law is a law that affects everything and everyone in the universe. The universe has a blueprint. That blueprint is a flow and order, is how things happen in the universe. The law of compensation is just one of those laws. When we talk about the law of compensation, most people think about finances. It is true that the law of compensation is applied to finances. However, that is not the only thing that the law of compensation governs. The law of compensation governs everything that you want and everything that you give. Have you ever heard those sayings, giving is receiving? It's better to give than to receive. Sharing is caring. And oh, yes, how can I forget? Give a penny, take a penny. Please allow me to share how you can use the law of compensation to manifest the things that you want into your reality. And as I said earlier, it's not all about finances. It can be about your time. It can be about some of the goals that you set that you would like to achieve. It could be about relationships and love. It can be about just about anything that you can imagine. Here's how to use it in a way that can benefit you. Whatever it is that you are wishing or hoping to achieve, that thing you want to manifest in your life, give it. Give it to someone else. If you need more time in your day, give some time to someone else. The problem with this is that so many people feel that when they lose, they don't have anything. But actually, the opposite is the case. The more you give, the more you will receive because the universe is set up to sustain you. So when you give up a little extra time for someone else, you will start seeing opportunities where you have more time in your day. That is the way that the universe compensates you. It makes sense. Think of an internship. You sacrifice some of your time for little or no compensation, and in the end, you're awarded or you're compensated through potentially gaining employment through that company. That's how the universe works. It also works this way with love. When you nurture and care for yourself, when you display self love within your own life, and love for others, then you will receive people in return that will share that same kind of love with you. And of course, I won't leave out finances because finances is a very important part in this. If you are seeking to grow financially, sow seeds to others. Even when it seems like you don't have to sow, make a sacrifice. It will return. That's what happened to me. I did not want to leave my last few pennies in that give a penny, take a penny tray. However, I got back a lot more than what I sowed that day. And one thing that I want you to know about this part, if someone else is trying to sow a seed into your life, let them. Because giving and receiving is a flow. In order to give, you have to receive. In order to receive, you have to give. My mom raised us to be very proud. That's just how she was. She didn't want us taking things from a lot of people, and she made that clear so that when we went to places, we knew how to act. Every time someone would offer us something, we were instructed to politely decline. There was one day as an adult, that a lady came to me and she wanted to sow a seed into my life. She wanted to give me some money and she handed me the money and I told her no. And this lady went off. This lady was like, "Look, girl, you're not going to block my blessings." I felt my intuition leading me to give you this. So I'm sowing this seed. Don't ever reject a seed that someone is sowing towards you and in your life. Sure, I still have those moments where that pride kicks in just a little bit, but I always go back to what that lady told me to remind myself when I am rejecting something that someone is trying to give me, I am blocking the seed. I'm not allowing them to plant the seed that they wish to harvest. This is something that you should think about too. There's another thing that I want you to think about when it comes to financially using the law of compensation. Sometimes people get caught up with what happens to the resources once I give. If I give this person this money, what are they going to do with it? Because a lot of times it's so easy for people to get caught up in that. Well, the thing is, when you give from your heart, no matter what it is that you give. Because if you're not giving from your heart, it makes no difference. It makes no sense, really, to give at all. So when you're giving a person, make sure that it's coming from love. Here's the next thing: don't expect that person that you planted the seed in is going to be the one to compensate you. No, the universe compensates you through energy. So that means you may give to one person, but you will receive from someone else. So don't expect your harvest to come from someone that you've already sowed into. It could happen, but it's not that way all of the time. As you can see, there is some positivity to the law of compensation, or as Katt Williams called it, the universal bank. However, there's another side too. I want you to really get the real of this. There's three different types of communication. There's verbal, nonverbal, and there is energetic communication. Whether you're aware of it or not, you use all three forms of communication in your expression. I want to call your attention to the latter, your energetic communication. It's the form of communication that can go unnoticed if you're not careful. Sometimes you're giving off something that you don't even know that you are. But because everyone is energy, you are always expressing this energy. Your energetic communication is the strongest form of communication you have. Have you ever noticed that some people sometimes know what you're thinking before you ever say a word? That means they've picked up on your energy. And if they're smart and in tune with you to be able to do that, don't you think the universe is just as in tune with your energetic communication? So when you are emitting a negative frequency, the universe will send that back to you. That's the universe's way of compensating you for the energy that you have released. That's why it's positive for you to maintain high vibrations. That's why it's positive that if you give from your heart. That's why it's possible that you treat people the same way that you will want to be treated. Because no matter if you're expressing something negative or positive, you're making an energetic expression, and the universe is in tune with it and will deliver and compensate you for whatever you deliver. When I got that check out of the mailbox, it was kind of a mystery to me. I know it's crazy. I was wondering where it came from and why. Don't get me wrong, no, I'm not that crazy. I went to the bank and cashed it first, but I came back home and I did my research. I called the number that I found on the check to try to see why they had sent me that amount of money. I had not even been in business with this company before. I just could not understand it. No one could tell me why that money was being sent to me. All I can say is the universe works in mysterious ways sometimes. Sometimes you can even look at it like a bank. As Katt Williams said, the universe has a banking system. It's imperative that you put deposits in on a regular basis so that your withdrawal is never denied. The universe has a very special way of compensating us for all that we do. It's important. Do what's right. Be heart led, be spirit led, be compassionate. Go through life with the spirit of humanitarianism. You can even use this to manifest some of the things that you would like to see in your life. What is it that you really want? What are those goals that you set to obtain and achieve this year? Have you sown some of those seeds into others? And if you have, did you sow it out of a space of love and compassion? Don't think about what's leaving you. Think about all of the wonderful things that the universe will use to compensate you for it. And this isn't even the reason why we give in the first place. But you know what I'm saying. Ask yourself this question today. Are you putting any deposits into the universal banking system on a regular basis? If you were manifesting from your universal banking system, what exactly would you receive? Now that you know more about this universal banking system, make it your business not to be denied. I love your life. This is how you manifest on purpose.